Oh, another one, yeah, it's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to iBoxingHub. I go by the name of Benji, featuring yours truly, Trey, and our guest, Christian. Hello.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure having you, Christian. Yeah, it's not really been the best starts for me. You know, as a sports fan, I'm a Man United supporter, so we just lost. So, yeah, I'm happy that we could obviously come talk boxing with you. And look, you've got a tremendous journey. And we just wanted basically for you just to have the platform to let the viewers know, you know, about your incredible boxing journey that people need to know.
Yeah, it's still underway. It's still underway at the moment. I have a fight coming up in 4 weeks now. So, not so this Saturday, 3 weeks, 30th of September. And my best friend's wedding is smack dab in the middle of training camp. So it's next week, and it's in Sicily. I just been to his house today. So it's gonna be painful, a painful wedding for sure. Because Brazilian weddings, they're known for having like a ton of food, and you know how it goes with making weight. So I mean, it's another challenge. So
Okay, Christian, there's a question I always ask, boxers. Just want to know what got you into boxing?
Well, I come from a very tough family. It's like full of like alpha males, you know. When I was growing up, all I was used to hear about is Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, then the tales of street fights that they've been in. They all dabbled in martial arts at some point, like my uncles and my dad. So when I was younger, I used to do karate, and my dad got me there to learn self-defense because I was bullied at school when I was young. And then even when I stopped and started playing football, I still continued like practicing a little bit here and there. Then when I got older, in the off season, I used to go to practice boxing and kickboxing. And at one point, I was like, I didn't feel like playing football anymore, and I said I was gonna continue like boxing and kickboxing just to keep my fitness, you know, like 3 times a week. So after a couple of weeks, the coach asked me if I wanted to travel them with them and support them. And now, like, if I'm traveling, I'm fighting. There was a kickboxing fight in Sicily, and so I started training twice a day immediately and just kept on going from there. I had like um, I had about 24, 23, 24 fights in my first couple of years. And I used to sometimes pay out of my own pocket to go abroad and fight kickboxing fights because there wasn't that many in Malta. Like 11 years ago, there used to be only 1 or 2 competitions a year. And yeah, then I had to fight K1 fight, and the fighter didn't get off the plane, didn't go from England because he was knocked out three weeks before, so they didn't let him fight. And then they called like one of the veterans of Maltese boxing. He's still boxing a little bit now as well. Dion Egalia. He's and he took the fight like on the day. And my coach called me and told me, "Listen, you're fighting this guy. You want to take it?" And I'm like, I mean, yeah, sure. Fuck it. It's better than not fighting after, you know, making weight and everything.
Yeah.
And I lost the bout on points. Funny story. It was he wanted a 3-round bout, but then we agreed on a 4-round bout. So after 3 rounds, I think it was a draw, and the referee was going to stop it, and I'm like, no, we agreed on 4 rounds. Then we put 4 rounds, and I lost on points because I lost the last round. But then from there, I mean, I just said, okay, if I like it, training kickboxing, I can hold my own with this guy because it was a really good fight. I said, I'm going to just focus on boxing now and took it from there.
Okay. What weight class are you in?
Middleweight. Middleweight.
Middleweight.
Okay.
Wow, no, it's powerful. I was just looking at like your background story, and one of the things that I was sort of impressed is that like Malta now is sort of becoming the hub now for professional fighters, especially from your country. And
Yeah.
when you became the UBO Intercontinental, obviously a middleweight champion,
Yes.
getting a call up from the Prime Minister, having your name, named after sort of dishes in restaurants.
Yeah.
You're obviously becoming a sort of household name in your country. So, what are the sort of plans that you have sort of moving forward in your career?
I don't like speaking about my plans because I believe it brings bad luck. I believe in keeping everything like to yourself and then just showing people. But I fought for the national title this year again, and it was a draw. Because I had fought for the super middleweight title.
Mm.
I lost once, then I won it, then I lost it on points
Mm.
again. So now I fought for the middleweight title. It was a draw. So of course I want to get that back,
Mm.
and hopefully this year if it happens. And after September, then I would like to go for some international titles, of course. And the bigger the better. I mean that's the goal right now. Um, but first, of course, I want to finish finish what we started last February because we fought and it ended in a split draw. And then if everything goes well, God willing, I'm in that fight, then we go for bigger fights and bigger titles, like regional titles, and try to move on as high as you can.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I believe that fight's going to be on Fight Zone TV, I believe. So, guys, if
Yes,
you're not
yes.
subscribed to Fight Zone TV, subscribe. You obviously get, access to some of the latest fights. And look, Palamos Music saying a Red Christian is involved with animal rights. Can you elaborate more on this topic? So, Palamos Music's obviously a massive fan of your work, and he just wants to know a little bit about your work with animal rights.
Yes, we used to. So I was vegan for 5 years, but then because of health issues, I had to transition back to a normal diet,
Mm.
like eating a bit of everything. And at one point, me and my wife were adopting a horse as well because my wife is really big into horse riding, and she was helping out with the horse sanctuary. And so we decided to adopt a horse as well, and she used to take care of it, and I used to go help her out sometimes over the weekend as well. And I mean, I'm not the biggest animal rights activist, but I like to. We have a dog as well. We have a French bulldog at home, and of course, I want to see animals treated well, like they should be, because I mean, they're as much part of the earth as we humans are, so we need to be living in harmony with everything else on the planet.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Wow.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah.
just when I touch up on yesterday's event, as you all know, World
Uh-huh.
Boxing are here. Before we touch up on the main event, just want to know, did you guys watch Markaku's fight?
Mark who?
Marku.
Marku, sorry, Marku.
Marco. No, I didn't get that, but I saw the knockout, and it was crazy
54
because
seconds.
he's orthodox and he switched to southpaw. Waited for the other guy to throw the jab. Then I mean he threw a inch perfect cross with his left hand, and he was out on his feet from there on. Then he jumped on him.
Yeah, Congo beats him. So Bukayo Saka's obviously saying Congo beats him. And I believe
Congo split.
last comment as well was, where's my United shirt? Look, you got the victory today. Yep, you know, United top on. No, it's not on. But look, I was proud of the performance. And look, Arsenal were the better team today. We can take that on the chin. But that's why we got boxing. So I'm excited that we could obviously go into that. I could put that underneath the rug, let's say, and you know, talk about boxing and podcast and chill with Christian. So just a quick one, guys. Anyway, obviously the middleweight division. I'm sure you've obviously got your eyes on it, Christian,
Yeah.
and you managed to see the main event yesterday.
Yes.
What was your initial thoughts about that? Actually, before we get to the main event, Fraser Clark, David Allen, did you watch that sort of event?
I
Before?
watched that and I watched the Cullen fight as well. Jack Cullen.
I love that.
I've seen him fight a few times, Jack Cullen, and I always liked him. This time he actually like won. The left hook that he hit him with, it was crazy. And I mean, I wasn't like I was happy for him, you know, because I've seen him fight and it was always kind of a hard luck guy. So I was happy that he won. And I think the Frazier and Allen fight was a bit bizarre,
Mm,
to be honest. It was a
mm,
bit bizarre, especially after having that like big build up towards it.
Yeah.
It was kind of an anticlimax kind of fight.
mm.
I mean, the low blows were there for everybody to see. Of course, like what's his name? Allen's shorts were ridiculously short,
Mm.
and that is, yeah, it was like he outgrew them, and his that's true. His,
No, sorry. It's just no. Go on. Please do continue.
but it's true. And then his cup was under his belly button, and he was hitting him under his elbows, and his cup was under his elbows. So of course it's low, you know. So I mean, it's up to no discussion.
I mean, for me, I just think it was painful to watch because even though people was hyping about the fight, think about it. Dave Allen, he's been inactive for like 3 years. So I
Nah,
expect.
he fought here and there on Fight Zone though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah, he's been fighting on Fight Zone, not on big shows and not versus top level opposition, but
Okay.
he's been fighting, you know.
When,
And
when was the last time he fought?
I don't know if it was, I think it was last year.
Right. Okay.
He fought
Even
in Malta as well last year. He fought in Malta.
oh
No,
yeah.
this year. He fought in February this year in Malta, if I'm not
Yes, he
mistaken.
did, yes,
Oh
yes, he did. Yes, 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 yes,
He
Christian.
Did he?
he knocked the guy out cold.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But see, even that. See, I expected more from Allen. If I'm honest with you, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I always had Fraser winning the fight, but it's just like for me as a fan, it just seemed that Allen just came for a payday. And Fraser even said it that look, he ain't gonna rematch him because it was awful. I don't know what he was doing. Like, I mean, come on, all right, all right. Some could say some of the shots were low blow. Some could say, come on, he's he's edging it on now. You know, I think everyone's trying to copy Usyk now. You know, it's getting boring now. It's just like, you know, and his corner had no choice but to stop the fight because
Yeah.
he took too much punishment. He took too much. If he had continued, he would have got knocked out. He would have.
I I don't know about the punishment. I didn't see him taking that much punishment in the beginning. Then he took a couple of big right hands, yes. But up until like I think up until round four,
Yeah, look,
when started opening up, I thought like he was catching most of the shots on his guard, and any jab, he more like a lot of the jabs that he was throwing were landing on Frazier. I was impressed by Frazier. It was the first time I saw him actually fight. And he had really nice fluid style. Like he moves very good, especially for a heavyweight. Like he's really nice and loose and relaxed and fluid. But I thought, like, at one point, Allen was hit him with a couple of overhand rights during the fifth or sixth round, I think. What was it? And I think if Allen was a little bit more active, he could have given him more trouble, but he wasn't throwing any shots. He was throwing very little shots. He was, he reminded me kind of a little bit of Canelo walking up with a high guard, trying to catch the shots and block them, and then throwing the jab. And but he wasn't throwing enough combinations. And the single shots that he was throwing, he wasn't that effective with against Clark. So I don't know. I even me, I expected more of Allen, to be honest.
I mean, if they were to rematch, you know, how would you judge the fight? Would you say, would it be the same outcome? Or do you think Allen can actually do something to Frazier Clark, cause an upset?
If he lets his hands go more, then yes. Because Clark is a very, very good boxer. And listen, I'm over here on a tiny island, so I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to disrespect like any of those two great boxers. But I mean, Clark was boxing very nicely, but he was getting hit. He was getting hit with his right hand, and he hit him with a few jabs, quite a few jabs as well. Allen, the few that he threw, he hit them with him, but he wasn't working enough. And if a guy is hitting you low, just hit him low back. If a guy is hitting you low, just the headbutt him. I mean, fucking, when he tries to come close and stick your head on his chin, shit happens. If he's playing dirty, I'll play dirty and make a fight out of it, you know? But I guess it wasn't on his mind, you know. So if he lets his hands go, I think yes, more. And if Frazier try to get in close and fight, let's say dirty, and he takes the fight up to him, then I think he can be at least more competitive than it was this thing.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, what's your thoughts on Allen and Clark?
Yeah, no, Christian's obviously made a tremendous point. You know, if Allen sort of let his hands go a lot more, maybe could have made it more competitive. But you know, at the same time, Frazier Clark, you know, just did what he had to do really to you know, get the points. Yes, you can argue with the shots below, but like what Christian said, you know, you could do fire with fire and you know, make a proper fight. But look, I agree with what Palermo's music's saying. I don't think a rematch is something that the audience wants to see. But at the same time, I think Frazier Clark can learn a lot from this fight and, you know, work on some things in the gym so he's prepared for another competitive fight, the next one. So he needs to get some more fights like this, in my opinion, in order for him to be ready for a big bout.
Who? Frazier Clark.
Yeah.
So do you feel that? I mean, in your opinion, do you guys think that he's ready for a British title shot, or he's not ready yet?
Yes, with his amateur experience, of course, he's ready for a British title shot.
You try?
Yeah. I agree. I agree with Christian. I think, like, you look at his amateur pedigree, like what Christian said, he should be ready for a British title. But then when you think British, then European, you know, the competition is going to get more trickier. But
I think he just need. I think he just needs to be a little bit more spiteful.
Yeah.
I think he's. I mean, when I saw him walk out to the DMX song, "The Rain," was great, and he had like this killer look on his face. I'm telling you, it was my first time watching him fight. I thought, oh man, this guy means business. And technically, he's very nice, but it just seemed that he or maybe just yesterday that he lacked that like raw aggression in him, that he actually wants to hurt the other guy.
I think there's respect there because they are friends, right? Or they know each other, right? They've got respect for each other. So I think there was some level of respect there where they didn't want to do too much. But I think towards the end, Fraser Clark, you know, he was a bit disappointing with the performance. Hence why he said he wouldn't want to rematch, because it's just a waste of time. So I think there's mutual respect there. I think there is mutual respect, even though he's annoyed, but I think there's actually mutual respect there.
Could be. If you see me and the guy that I'm sparring tomorrow, he was the best man at my wedding, you would think like we hate each other's guts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's boxing, especially when you're boxing with 10-ounce gloves. I mean, that respect should just go out of the window.
True.
In my opinion, I mean, the other guy's trying to hurt you back as well. So
it's true. It's the hurt business, and I think when you get in the ring, I think these guys are just gonna have the mindset of, look, unfortunately, we'll be friends off the ring, but in the ring, we have to get down and dirty. So yeah, I do agree. I think maybe if we saw a bit of spite, then, you know, we could have got more of an emphatic performance. But look, he still got the job done. He's got
yeah, of course. He perforated his eardrum, no?
Huh?
He perforated his eardrum. That's why he quit. He stopped.
There's a few reasons why he stopped, actually. Was it possibly the jaw, or what was the?
I got told the jaw, but I don't know. It's just, you know, they said.
Yeah, it's just
Could
absolutely.
be. So I mean, he had to be a bit spiteful to fracture someone's jaw or perforate his eardrum. So it's not like he was pity patting him, you know. But it's I just said what it seems to me, like how it seems to me.
That's a good point. It's definitely a good point. Yeah, you know what, guys? We're down to sort of the main event. Let's say the main sort of topic of the evening. I'm obviously excited to talk to you both about this fight, because it was, you know, much anticipated. We were sort of questioning whether Eubank can bounce back after that loss, you know, earlier this year. Christian, firstly, I know you're obviously a middleweight yourself. You're looking at the likes of sort of Christian. Oh, no, you're looking at the likes of Chris Eubank, Liam Smith. You know, people within even Denzel Bentley, who we've also had in the show as well. Like, what's your overall sort of thoughts on the fight itself?
Oh, my thoughts on the fight itself. I thought at first I was just waiting for Liam Smith to start working, you know, to start throwing punches. But then, like after 4 or 5 rounds, and that his work rate stayed quite low, he was staying behind his shell. Then I thought, like, if he doesn't land a Hail Mary, Eubank is going to win for sure. I didn't expect a knockout of either of them, because I thought in the beginning, I was thinking before the fight that Eubank would be more defensively responsible in his fight, and I thought that Liam Smith is very, very tough guy. You know, I don't know. I think he had only been knocked out by Canelo before this fight, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't expect a knockout. But then Eubank, of course, he boxed really well as well. I mean, he had his jab in his face all the time, and he was doubling the jab most of the time. So that takes away, when you double the jab, it takes away from your opponent's ability to counter the jab, you know? So, and they work the uppercuts a lot, because Liam Smith, yeah, there's gloves like that. It goes up through. So, I mean, I think Eubank fought a great fight, to be honest. It was a bit on both sides, I think, as well. Like, Eubank fought as best as he could, I think. And he had great work from his corner as well. And I think Liam Smith wasn't up to his normal abilities either. So kind of tilted the balance a bit more in Eubank's favor.
Yeah, cuz what's your overall thoughts before
Right.
talk about the situation, of course.
First of all, big up Liam Smith. He's a former world champion. Unfortunately, he got took to school. Eubank took him to school yesterday. I mean, look, the reality is, right, a lot of people writ off Chris Eubank Jr. They said, he's not a boxer, he's no good. Liam's is going to be repeat again. No way he's going to beat Liam, etc., etc. But he's just proven, to the doubters and everyone that, he's still in there. Eubank name carries weight. Do you know what I mean? And what he displayed yesterday, it was amazing. I mean, look, he pretty much won every round. Every round. I mean, the ref could have stopped the fight in round 5. Could have. Do you know what I mean? But I just think the better man won. I mean, look, when Liam fought Eubank in January, right? We all know with the weight loss, weight cut and everything, Eubank, he didn't take Smith serious. When I say serious, he wasn't really switched on. He thought, all right, it's going to be an easy victory. I'm going to beat him. But he got caught. And that was the first time in history that he's been dropped, right? Because he's never been dropped before. Yeah. Usually when you get dropped, I mean, when you get dropped, they say, don't rush up, take your time. Do you know what I mean? Hence, when he got up, he's wobbling all over the place. Some say, was that a fluke? No, I suppose, the better man won that day. But if they were to have a trilogy, I believe the outcome will be the same again. I believe Eubank beats Smith. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah,
100% right. Because I have to agree with you. Look, massive shout out to Bolmac, Brian McIntyre, the team. The whole of the family, of course. There's been a lot happening in the back end, as you can imagine. Especially with the whole situation that's obviously happened with the Eubanks, the whole cancelling of the Benn situation. I'm not really making excuses for fighters. Of course, you guys are warriors, but I felt that, going into the first fight, he wasn't 100% there, like you said, Chris. But for me, the second time round, he was 100% focused. He looked calculated. He looked measured. He looked calm. He looked relaxed. He looked like he was focused on only getting the victory. And a lot of people are also saying that, if the first time round he was this focused, then would he have, done the same thing? I believe yes. So, look, credible performance, tremendous performance put in by Chris. Obviously made a wager on that game. I won some money, so I can't even complain. From the Eubanks, of course.
Good for you.
Sorry?
Good for you.
I know. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes it doesn't come through. But this time round, I just felt this time coming round that, there was a lot that was going to be happening in this fight. So, look, massive shout out to, Chris and the rest of the team involved. But Christian, what I wanted to ask you, we like to put our managers' hats on or promoters' hats on. I know, during COVID, in fact, you was actually involved in the first spectator show that you co-promoted in your country.
Yes.
So massive credit to you. If you were sort of putting your promoter's hat on, what's the next step for Eubank? Is he going for a world title next? Or will you look at, the likes of Brook? Would you look at the likes of?
No, I wouldn't match him with Brook, because that's a fight that people expect him to win, and it's kind of a lose fight for him, because if he wins it, yes, you beat someone who's semi-retired or he's retired, and he's an old guy, and a lot of people say that, listen, he's past his prime. So if you lose to him, then of course it will be even worse. And I don't think there is that much money in it either, because Brook, yes, he's a big name, but I don't think he pulls in as many people as other boxers. If you would look at it from a purely financial point of view, you would try to match him with Conor Benn because that's a mega fight in the UK. But then if like proper boxing legacy is important for him, then I would have him try to fight for a world title as soon as possible because he's very fit. He's in his peak right now, so and he's coming off a great win. So I would just try to push on for a world title as fast as I can and keep the momentum going. But then it depends on what the guy wants to do. If he wants to do something for the money, then go for Conor Benn. If you want to go for world titles, then this is the best time to do it.
Yeah, it looks like obviously just before I make my point, Palamos Music, just massive shout out to you. Thanks for tuning into the show. He's obviously saying Chris was in sparkling form last night. He was the hype. Look, we agree. I think he looks like this time round, he looks like with Brian McIntyre, Mac. I think, look, go for titles now. He's still, at that age, like you said, he's still strong, athletic. He looked very good. He looked like he can box. He can be calculated. He can be measured. And the focused Eubank can be a wall beater. So if I were managing him, like you said, I agree with you. I think just get him into a world title shot.
So especially now that the middleweight division is kind of in a flux. Like there's not that really like Canelo dominated it for quite a bit. Canelo and Golovkin between them, and since they moved up, I mean Charlo's been inactive for a very long time. You've got Carlos Adames. I love that fighter, the Dominican guy. He's the interim. Then you've got Janibek Alimhanalai. He's the WBO champion.
You got
Sorry.
You got Arislanda Lara, who's one of the champions as well.
But isn't he like a subtitleist of WBA or something, or is he a full titleist now? I don't know exactly.
I'm not too sure. I believe he's the regular title.
Yeah.
But guys, if anyone knows it right now, get involved in the discussions. I definitely, from my knowledge, I think that Arislanda Lara does carry the WBA strap.
There's going to be a unification now in the middleweight as well. Alimhanalai is going to fight Gualtieri, the guy who won the IBF, I think, Vincenzo Gualtieri. So,
what I would want is for like you guys are saying, for Eubank to challenge for a world title. I believe if he becomes a world champion, then defend it. Then fight Conor Benn. It'll be even a bigger fight because there's a belt on the line. I believe Conor would have to come up to 160. Do you know what I mean? It just makes.
But I think Conor has to have a couple of fights at 160 to get into the ratings first.
Well, yes. But according to him,
appear in a top 15 as usual, as sometimes happens. But
because according to him, again, it's all hype talks, and he was saying, if it was him that fought Eubank, he would have ended Eubank in fourth round. Again, these are all talks, but Smith, I do believe
if he fought Smith, he said he would end it in fourth round because he had one leg.
Oh, come on, man.
According to him, but I do think not Eubank, sorry, Benn needs a warm-up fight. But then again, I don't want him to fight anybody. I want him to fight somebody credible. Do you know what I mean? And then from that then him and Eubank make that fight happen. Hopefully Eubank's a world champion by then, and then it just makes perfect sense. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's a good point, and I know it's the sort of the fantasy fairy tale fight that everyone wants to see, the Benn Eubank fight. I think that's always going to be there. And for me, I would just want Eubank to just sort of focus on becoming a champion, chasing a legacy, and for Benn to, focus on his own career for now, get those fights at welterweight. And, if at some point they cross paths, definitely, but as in right now or the foreseeable, it just depends on how Benn looks, in these next couple of fights. But look, him jumping the queues as well, especially for people like Christian as well. I just don't think it's it's fair from a boxing.
I'd fight Ben. Of course, I would fight Ben. I'd fight Eubank as well. Why wouldn't I?
Absolutely.
What's the worst that can happen? I get my ass handed to me, you know? The best would be that I win. The worst, I get my ass handed to me. It's boxing, you know?
That is good. That's the energy we love, honestly. And yeah, Christian, look, it's been an absolute pleasure. You're an absolute legend. You know, I've looked at, you know, your story, the things that you do in your country. And look, I think, you know, big things are coming. And I'm definitely going to be watching, you know, the
Fingers
show
crossed.
coming up on, you know, on Fight Zone at the end of the month. Good luck. I know you're going to smash it, the energy that you have. And look, I wanted to ask, describe, you know, the Cockers Knockouts hamburger. Like, what is in that burger? That's obviously
that was when I was vegan. They had made it with, so you had two seitan. So you have the bun. Then you had two seitan patties with gherkins and vegan bacon and the special barbecue sauce that they had in it.
Yeah.
And so you had the bun, seitan patty, gherkin, vegan bacon, patty, gherkin, and vegan bacon, and then more barbecue sauce. Then you had the bun to close that with fries, of course.
Wow, that's
wow. That was delicious.
I'm serious. Why it's called the knockdown burger. Wow.
Yeah, man. All right, then, guys. Well, listen. Thank you for coming on, Christian. Much appreciated. Guys, just remember to. So, what's your social media link so then you know the followers can follow you in your journey?
My Instagram is Chos, my nickname _Christian. And my Facebook profile is just Christian Chos Cambry, like it's written over there on my the handle over there. Pretty easy. I made a TikTok as well, but just to keep up with the times, I don't use it. It's too much hassle.
Yeah,
are you on Twitter? Are you on Twitter?
So,
are you on Twitter?
No, Twitter no.
Instagram and Facebook,
Instagram
right?
and Facebook, yes.
No
yes,
worries.
so Al Heyman of iBoxingHub has put the link right there. So this is the app for you know, the legend right here, Christian Kokos Shembri. And yeah, no, thank you so much once again for coming on the show. Massive love to you. And look, we just hope that, you know, in your next fight, knockout, so you can, you know, have a tremendous journey ahead.
Fingers crossed, buddy. Yes, I hope so too. I'm really focusing. I'm really focusing now. I've always been focused, but now it's like I'm taking it to another level. I'm taking my recovery more seriously, my sleep more serious. Doing some sports psychology stuff as well now. So yeah, I mean, because I want to give it a good go, you know. So and hopefully continue from the next fight. Last fight it was a hard fight, but I managed to. I started slow, but I finished really strong, and I got to no points. And hopefully I continue with the same trend. So now I just want to keep on getting win after win after win and trying to go as high as I can. I've got the experience now. I've been boxing for 11 years. I've been a pro since September 2017. I've traveled a lot. I've been to UK training many times, to Sweden, to Hungary. I've trained in New York as well. And I've been lucky to have some really good coaches over here in Malta as well. So yeah, I mean, it's time to kick on now, you know.
No, absolutely love that. You're there. Thank you so much, Christian, once again. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. You take care, my friend. Well, guys, remember we're here every Sundays and Wednesdays at 7:30. Remember, guys, to like, share, and subscribe. And have a lovely, productive week. Peace and love.
it's another bang. All the Mars and cars now, with your bag it up. Light up my card with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag it up. Say, oh, it's another one, yeah, it's a full strand, yeah. Oh.